Here we are, having fallen below 54,000 earlier today, we have immediately recovered and are now hovering around 57 or 55. Guys, I am absolutely not worried. If you're worried, it's probably because you underestimated how long it will take. You were under the impression that you would reach 77,000 today. All you have to worry about if you're going to be in this for 4 years is how to succeed. Get a little extra cash or unload some assets that won't perform as well as Bitcoin over the next 3 to 4 years. Get rid of anything that doesn't belong in your diet. After you've taken care of that, get back to work, generate some fiat currency, and then purchase some Bitcoin. Also, it's cool if the price is 42,000 the next time you purchase some. Got it. 82,000 is awesome. I have Bitcoin stashed somewhere. Compared to last night, my Bitcoin holdings are higher this morning. Its value appears to have dropped today. By the way, I wanted to remind everyone that today is July 5th. Today, not a single soul is at work. At this time, no one is selling, even if other investors were pessimistic about the market. Bitcoin's value quickly recovered from a recent dip to $1.54,000 and is now hovering around $1.55,000. Recently, a Bitcoin maximalist and CEO of Cardone Ventures named Cardone shared his optimism and the reasons for it. If you're worried about short-term swings, Cardone says you should just stop worrying about them since you misjudged how long your investments will last. So his advice to long-term investors is to increase income generation and reduce holdings in assets that won't outperform Bitcoin. After the first 100 days, Bitcoin fell between 23% and 30% before making a comeback. Buy. Strangely, miners are still cranking out Bitcoins despite the falling price. Bitcoin didn't exactly roar last week, whereas iron surged 28%. How will the miners proceed? Those miners are going to soar like pancakes off a griddle if this thing turns around and does an 88 or 85. I am not sure if I can advance in a $50,000 to $60,000 environment at a 28% rate, what could they accomplish if Bitcoin was at a $78 or $80 rate? That's why it comes before the AI part of this. Have you considered the possibility that it was consolidated? I'll just leave it at this, Sam. If you're becoming frustrated because I'm talking more about politics than Bitcoin right now, I just wanted to let you know that I understand. At this present moment, this is crucial, therefore I kindly beg that you be patient with me. I want you all to give voting serious consideration. Consider your neighbors and encourage them to cast their ballots this November. Meeting your neighbors is all you gotta do, dude. Sure, I'll just use this as a show finale from now on. Stop bragging and go do something good for someone else. Yes, I do think this is a lovely life hack. It's something I've been doing for quite some time. Plus, it's becoming second nature the more I tell you all about it. Someone once showed me this small life hack, but I completely forgot about it. Even if I dislike and don't want to be involved in politics, I believe it is an important element of being kind. Very well, for the next 5 months, you will simply need to persevere through this. I also fear that we will have to fight again to hold on to it once we've fought for and won it. In my opinion, we are currently in the midst of a 4 to 8 year journey wherein doing nothing and hoping that Bitcoin goes up is the best course of action. You will not contribute to finding a solution. With that being said, I believe Bitcoin has the potential to advance. Yes, it will rise, and let's envision Bitcoin as that type of force, linked between all these individuals to perhaps discover how our voice can be more prominent. Someone found out that if they say something enough times, even if they only represent 4% of the world's population, people will listen to them, and now our voice has been silenced. Someone has cut us off. And just like that, everything transpired. There was a hush, and someone else took advantage of it. Therefore, you will need to be okay with the idea that I will likely be the object of hatred and worse, prosecution. This won't be cheap. Man. As if there is currently no one in Ukraine with whom to speak. Very well, my girlfriend's parents just relocated from Ukraine to Monaco, and she spent 4 weeks visiting them. A span of 4 weeks. If you believe you have complete freedom, then you are mistaken. Sure, because if other people are treated this manner, then you can expect the same treatment, right? Without a doubt. Deal with the incorrect individual and move on. Thus, Bitcoin, the nation, and this country are all things that I adore. There are 8 billion people on this wonderful world, and I adore it. There are a mere 10,000 elected officials. Very well, say 8 billion to 10. We need to quit bickering over insignificant matters and start talking to each other and being honest. It's an obvious need. Good honor, morality, ethics, truth, productivity, creation, getting rewarded for what you make, and not having your work stolen from you are some of the fundamental concepts of belief that we can agree on. I hold these beliefs. In any case, I can guarantee that you will enjoy this immensely. Succeed or fail. We are, in fact, going through history right now, buddy. 20 years from now, you'll look back and realize, hey, I was an employee of this man. We are living in the midst of history, he would declare, though he is now deceased. Is the shifting sand tangible to you? Experiencing the movement of the structure beneath my feet is quite thrilling. In a symbolic sense, you know, in my opinion, that is far more relevant than the question of whether Bitcoin is trading at 78,000 or 7,000. It is incredibly thrilling. While I disagree with that scenario, I can assure you that we will be handsomely compensated for our work in Bitcoin. However, if you fail to take action on the political front as well, you will not be able to reap the benefits of your position. I will conclude with that. Regarding Bitcoin, it's quite simple since I know the price, I know the supply and demand. Also know that you are one of very few people who have ventured into this asset class. If my idea about the rich is correct, then you should consider game theory. To the point where they've eaten all they can. Their consumption is at its peak. We had peak oil? You remember. A guy I know made it big as a writer. Hello, Dan. Eventually, Dan, I'll have to remember his name, became a professor of the idea of peak oil, though I seriously doubt that we have ever experienced it. Oil will never reach its peak. The concept of peak oil implies that there is a cost, but that all of the world's oil will be available at that price. I am therefore unable to comprehend game theory. In a scenario involving OPEC and a cartel, I can explain how that might function using game theory. However, I am astounded to see that there are 406,000 really rich households when I examine Bitcoin. I have a good idea of their behavior. Very well. You may buy a Rolex or a chartered aircraft for $125,000 with that sum. There must be an endless supply of chartered flights, doesn't there? A number of Rolex watches could be manufactured indefinitely. How many planes are going to land in $1 million? Personally, to me, as soon as you show up in Tampa with an airplane, every single person will be claiming $1 million. Planes will turn up, I need to go 3 hours and pay you $1 million. Look at how they provide it. All right, yeah, very warped. In my opinion, this is a really straightforward one. Everything else pertaining to game theory was quite convoluted, you know. You have oligopolies, duopolies, and monopolies, different types of market. Entry strategies are required for each of them. Because I am aware of the strategy